Hi everyone. So this week we looked at Brendan McConville's book, The King's Three Faces, and I really enjoyed reading it. I felt like it was a good review to have, especially with the early political system developing in the way that it did in North America in relation to the monarchy and breaking off from them. And so, in answering your question, Dr. Packle, I think that royalism was a primary force of change before 1776 because the royalty had such an appeal for so long, especially in England and within Europe itself. It worked. People liked having the king and queen have a say over them, and it seemed for centuries that they had the security with the monarchy. And I feel like the institution of the monarchy, though dramatically changed during this period in England, especially in how they govern its colonies. The establishment, the changes that the monarchy underwent during the 17th century caused itself to change how the monarchy looked in future events and future issues, especially in its colonial holdings. And for instance, this divine right principle, for I think it started, there was a lot of change between members of the royal family, starting with James II's ascension to the power in 1685. I think it was around page 15 or 16 of Connell's book that it discussed that when he ascended the throne as a Catholic king, that signaled an issue with a lot of people that because they were not Catholic, they didn't like how he did things. And so once he fled in 1688, that gave room for William and Mary to come in with their Protestant faith aligning with their citizens. It coincided with their religious as well as political beliefs now. And I think those beliefs were officially recognized when the Bill of Rights was established in 1689. And that document, I felt, drastically changed the course of English power, not just in its domestic authority, but within its colonial holdings, especially in North America. It signaled that the crown had no single power anymore, that it was now officially sharing its power with Parliament. And it confirmed that Parliament had a say in how the people were going to be ruled, whether they were accepting of the crown or not. They were given this chance to have a real say in how they wanted the government to govern them, and that was through the Parliament's power in electing them. And so I think divine right also was this change going on in royalism, but as well, when John Locke started writing his stuff, that's when the Glorious Revolution took place during that time. And his philosophy of this contract needing to be in effect for the citizens to have these secured rights, it led to people having changes with how they looked at the government in England itself. They wanted to have some say in their day to day lives, but they still wanted the king and queen to be in power. And I think that then leads to the democratic side and the popular ideas that people are used to generally, and I was used to that people, the British citizens in North America grew tired of this growing political force that was a monarchy, and they didn't like how they were doing things, and so they just all of a sudden wanted to declare war and they wanted to gain their freedom, and that wasn't necessarily the case. Like you said in your video, Dr. Packle, as well as in this book, that there was more to the story, that there wasn't just this one singular event that cause the American Revolution, but there was this the factor that there was this factor of royalism itself, especially in prior to 1776, because it underwent so many changes with its political, economic, and cultural authority. It bred, it opened the door for the American Revolution to take place, and inevitably ended in the United States forming.